how are you anyway? How's business? I can see you working away there. I can see the solder burnering away.
Yeah, I prepare 20 families that we finished today, and in the background, Frauke is building silver machines, and this is the package we have to pack today. And there is the pickup for today, and so on. Quiet day here today because we working just the two of us, and tomorrow we are with the whole gang here and finish the last orders. I work JPTR full-time for like 2 years now.
All right.
And my girlfriend is a tattoo artist, and she supports me anytime she can. But right now we have Corona situation, so no tattoo shop anymore. So she works here full-time too now. And I have one colleague that is also helping half-time. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, look, for you, for guitaring and stuff like that, when did you, or what were your early musical influences as a guitarist? And, what sort of music were you listening to in the early years?
I have a bigger sister, 7 years older, and I'm born in the middle of the 80s. So grunge and art rock and all that stuff was my sister's music, and that's what I grown up listen to. So Nirvana, Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins was basically my first touch with cool music. And yeah, after that I got all the CDs of my sister, changed my life. Saw Nirvana live and loud on TV, smashing guitars, singing, screaming, and yeah, that's why I picked up a guitar and wanted to do that, grow my hair long and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Fast pedals.
Yeah, well, it's funny how I had a similar, my sister was a great musical influence on me. My sister is 5 years older than me. So we went through a similar sort of experience, although I was born in the early 70s. So my sister was born in the sort of later 60s. So from her bedroom, I could hear sounds of bands like the Sex Pistols, Susie and the Banshees, Crass, The Who, Paul Weller, Jam, and all these fantastic bands. So that was really my first introduction to music, and I thank her for that, because there's some absolutely superb bands that she introduced me to.
Same story, different time.
Absolutely. And when did you, from those early days of sort of listening to the music you were listening to, the grunge and things like that, what got you into guitar effects, or did that sort of come later?
First touch with effects was music shop here in my hometown. What's that big thing? It's a Big Muff. Cool. Can I hear it? Oh, that's how they do it. And then started to get money for a Big Muff and a chorus and a reverb pedal. And then I needed to repair all that stuff because they tend to broke. Guitar jacks tend to broke. And my stepdad was like, you don't have to pay a shop for repairing your stuff. You can solder them. Because at that point, my only guitar that I worked very hard was red. And the color red is the most ugliest thing you can imagine as a 60-year-old goth metal kid. So I painted black. And then I had to put it apart together. And he got me an iron, a solder iron. And then I started to fix my cables and jacks and all that. And then I did it for friends. And then I ordered some pedal kits years later and started making kits and learned how to make them louder, to make them filthier, bigger, more gain, more bass, more everything. So I started building pedals while I have horrible day jobs. And then the time of horrible day jobs went away when I was like 25, because I have basically no future in those jobs. And I decided to make money with pedals. And this was a slowly process, but I'm very big mouth and connective with people. So it was hard and long work, but it went out good. And yeah, I'm living from making pedals now.
Fantastic.
This is my printing desk.
Yep.
So here I print orders, making emails. While I'm doing this, I prepare new circuit boards. So if we wouldn't call, I would watch Netflix while I'm working.
Yeah.
So it's not really work. Sometimes you have stressful customers, but they don't stressful because they don't like you. They just spend money and want to have the thing they bought, which is totally understandable. And yeah, that's the only point of stress. The years of hard, making a company run and making money, so you don't have to worry about paying rent and all that. That's done. So I can relax, just build the orders, build like 20 pedals more than we need a week, so we can sell them a bit faster every week. This is the plan for this year. No more longer waiting times, cool new pedals and all that. But basically, I don't work any day. No, not at all. I mean, it's my hobby. If I would go broke tomorrow, what would I do? Cry for like, okay, a week, but then I would stop making me a pedal because I was bored. And then I basically do the same thing, play guitar and making pedals for me or my friends. So yeah. Also, I have to say, which is very cool, that your guitar group, the FX Planet, is so cool because it's a lot of positive vibes. I can see that you and the others are making hard work and much work for this group, and I totally enjoy to be a part of that.
That's very kind. Well, it is a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of hours.
You see that.
But that was really my intentions from the start, is to create a forum with a difference, but also to give members more. And as we've talked previously, is to give a focus on you obviously appreciate, and we talked last week, JPTR is you're not a small builder anymore. So, but the focus is really to give some exposure to the smaller builders, the boutique builders, and bring them in contact with members.
Absolutely.
But it's one thing seeing a pedal and seeing a demo of a pedal, but it's another thing talking to the person behind that builds them. I mean, we interviewed your good friend Frank Fleckenstein very recently, and
I love how you spell his name in English. I never heard his name in English. Fleckenstein. Fleckenstein. No, it's right, but it's two German words, and never heard it in English. It's funny. Right. Yes, Frank is a very good friend, and also he made a few weeks here in the shop to learn to solder and build pedals.
That's right. Yeah, he mentioned that. But the thing is with Frank is that, I mean, he was saying that he's only been building pedals for, about a year, which is correct. But as I was talking to him and as he was sort of responding, and I said to him afterwards, he talks with a lot of maturity and understanding. He actually talks like a builder with quite a few years under his belt. And when he talks about his pedals, it's very engaging. You know,
the point is, basically everyone can build a pedal, and everyone already builds pedals. No secret here. The point is to be the one in the big group standing out, and that you can do with good products, with good ideas, with quality, and not just in the pedal, in quality in like how they are to the customers, what the pedals do when you push the one button, what is in the box when you order them, how is the, you know, when you buy an Apple product, everyone is talking bad about Apple, but if you get a product, it's like an event if you open it. Basically, this is what the custom and the boutique scene does to the music customers, and musicians want to feel special. And if you don't give them that, if you just put a sticker in the box, they will forget you. You know? And Frank is one of the guys you can write and say, hey, cool, I want to have a pedal. Yeah, this is cool, but does it sound good with my Fender Twin? And he is in the music scene for like forever, and he would counter the question with which kind of music, which kind of Fender Twin do you have? Because I played like 10 of them. And to answer your question right, I need this kind of information, because he knows like everything. He's like, I would ask him a question if I would order new pickups for my guitar. That's his level of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. That came across, and but as I said initially, he was sort of very humble in his before he started talking about his pedals and his products and his work. And as he was talking, it was like, actually, Frank, you're talking very confidently and very knowledgeable about how he's tweaked the pedals and everything else and what they actually do.
Yes,
I think
he's way too humble. He's way too humble. He could be so arrogant, but he chooses to not be like that. Yeah, and that's totally cool.
That is a nice quality. But anyway, enough of FFX pedals. Let's talk JPTR pedals. And you've got quite a bit of pedals within your range. What are some of your favorites?
Yeah, tough question. Yeah, normal answer would be I love them equally, but there's something special if you plug in a Silver machine. There's something special when you plug in a Super Weirdo, because it's freaking awesome if you hit just an A chord and dime your amp and dime the pedal. It's like pure magic. And both of these pedals are my favorite pedals. We're working now on a big muff variant that's called Warlow, Foss Monstrosity, and Warlow is my band, and we developed Op Amp Big Muff because I'm a huge sucker for the Smashing Pumpkins, and an an Op Amp Big Muff is pretty cool for that, and we developed a new pedal that is called the Warlow, and that's basically my favorite pedal right now.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I mean, the Drum Thing Deluxe. What is that? I've had a look at that, and if you maybe tell us a little about that particular pedal.
First of all, it's a distortion pedal. Pretty boring. A distortion pedal with a gain and volume knob. And here starts the fun. It has on the input side a contact microphone. So basically your signal is microphonic. If you stomp on the ground while having the drum thing active, the stomps will go through this distortion circuit. If you have it on a table, your whole table is now in a distortion circuit. Funny thing about it, we stopped to make it because no one's buying it, because it was, I guess, too extreme for the world. That is sad, but yeah, it's disconnected.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? So market demands and everything else.
You can't do, if you have a successful business, and I mean with successful, I don't mean like being the richest guy in town. I mean like it's working, that you pay your rents without thinking about it. And for that, you have a special product range. And if you buy parts for like 10,000 euros, you have to spend it on a product that is selling. And on this point, on this point, you have to make decisions, do it or don't. So we bring 4 new pedals out this year, so I have to make space.
And how does that feel with yourself when you're creating a pedal that you is almost like one of your children, and you see the benefits? Is there a fine line where you have to kind of, okay, you need to kind of almost put aside your artistic creation and create something which is a bit more commercially driven?
No, because I tend to develop something I would like first, and then I give them my friends the prototypes, see their reaction if they turn the knob, and then I make notice. So I'm not my only customer. I have to listen to my customers. If they say the pedal is way too loud, you idiot, and all the people that I give the pedal say the same thing. The pedal is basically too loud then. So I changed that. In the early years, I just make extreme fusses for myself and thought, okay, if you need an extreme fuss, let me know, you can buy one. But now you have to make it at least make it work for other people too, because no one is buying then pedals.
Absolutely, that's what it's that's what it's all about.
Yeah, but also I think if you would choose a nicely light overdrive, I could be honest and say, I think JPTR FX might not be the company for that. But we have a Jive overdrive, it's a boost and overdrive. But if you search for a transparent, clownish overdrive, I would say, yeah, cool, look somewhere else, because there are enough of that. I don't have to build it.
Yeah. And obviously power cables or powering cables are very important. And you've got a partnership with Loaded for Bear, I understand. Is that correct?
That is right.
And what sort of power and cables do you sort of recommend with your, or would you prefer to be used with your pedals?
Yeah, a good isolated power supply is way enough for every pedal board situation. If you run like 4 pedals, and if you have like 3 Strymon pedals, you already basically, all the people that have this kind of pedals have also this kind of money, and also already have a good power supply to make their expensive board work. And Loaded for Beer built me cables, but not for the pedals, for the amps. And if you spend 2,500 euros on a JPTR FX Ohnmacht amp, you get a well-designed and built custom cable with it, and not just a power cord that I buy on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when somebody buys a JPTR Effect, what are your so if I was to, I should really buy one of your pedals at some point, that's for sure. I've got to. But you know, if I were to use a Jupiter effect for the first time, what sort of feelings and thoughts are you hoping that I'm going to get from the use of the pedal that you've made?
Do you know the feeling when you put your favorite record on and you make it a bit louder every time, and each chord and each refrain it comes, and every time you turn you start to sing and dance, and this is the feeling I want to give customer if they use my pedals. And
do you know, I was singing and dancing to a song yesterday, so I know the feeling. I can't remember what the song was at the moment.
If you just love the moment and love what happens, you don't have to explain it or something. It's a feel. And when you plug in a Jupiter pedal, you feel the danger, and you feel your amp melting, and you feel like people staring at you, but in a good way. This is what happens if you buy a Jupiter pedal, and this is the reason we design it with that thought.
And you bought some fantastic amps as well. Well, they certainly look fantastic. I'd love to try one out at some point, and hopefully that might be the case at a trade show or something like that. So how easy was it to go from that transition of creating guitar effects to creating amps? And I presume there's a huge amount of difference in the techniques and skills required.
Oh, yes. I'm not the technical designer of my company to make that clear. I'm a businessman and I can solder straight, but I don't have the certification to build an amp or design circuit boards. I have hired people for that. Okay, to make that clear. If you run a company, it's impossible to make everything. That's the first mistake people make when they start a company. So for an amp, you need a professional amp builder. And in Germany, you have license for that because it's running on not just normal high voltage, it's like running on 600 volts. So you have a master degree for that. And I found the right guy and told him I want a Model T. And he said, cool, I build you one. Then he builds me one and said, why not me building you one amp per month and you sell them? And I say, cool, can you live with that is a Jupiter FX flag on that? You know, and builder proud and stuff. So I employed him and he's part of my team and he's building the amps. Hello, Daniel.
Ah, excellent.
Yep. And the Model Ts are Sun Model Ts. You don't get them anymore. And when you get one, when you also have the money, you need to have the money like 4K, like 3K, and then you get an amp that is like 50 years old, and the parts in an amp maybe last 15 years. So after that, they kind of rot. They're not just in an age, they're drift, so they will sound badly. You know, they're not fresh anymore. I don't know how to explain it in English, but I think you guess. And like old tubes, and the other parts in it are also aging, sounding dull, all that. So why not making a new one with new parts, not just like, oh, it has new parts, and also the best parts we can get. It's like custom made trafos, and everything in it is custom. The head shell is custom. The chassis is custom. It's German designed work and the best we can do. So you spend 2,500K for an amp that will never leave you there on the middle of the road because it's well designed. It's not an old shitbox that we tend to all have at some point, but not this amp.
What are the warranties on your products?
For the pedals, Lifeline.
Right.
And also, yeah, sure. And also I repair them for like chocolate. At least they have to pay the shipping because it's not my problem. But if it's my problem because I had a bad day or something, it's like you get a new pedal and we're done. And if they put some wrong power supply on it, we can talk about what you're gonna pay. But I don't want money, to be honest. It's like, you see, when we talk, I already built like 30 Fernweh boards. So why not replace one if one got broke? Huh?
You made how many, sorry?
30, 30.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
I didn't
So
even...
why not? Yeah, I know.
What are you
And
I want to prove that.
Just the circuits, not the complete pedal. Okay, it's very easy. And so why not replace the board if something's broke? It's customer support. We're not like Thomann, and this is the difference in ordering a boutique pedal and not just like, yeah, you're fucked now because you bought it 3 years ago. It's like, okay, cool. Give me like €5 for the shipping and some chocolate in a box, and we are done. I work like 10 minutes, like plop, 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 and he basically has a new one with the old enclosure. So why not do it this way? And they also respond very nice because this is very nice. And the benefit of that is he will tell his band members, yeah, it got broke, but they were so cool and just replaced this 2 wires, and I paid basically nothing. And his bassist and guitarist will say, okay, cool, I like to support that guy, so let's order the next pedal on him, you know? As I told earlier, everybody builds pedals and can build pedals. It's not difficult. But how you run your company, not just like how you treat your customers, like how are you in the internet and how you show yourself and your company, it's very, very, very important. Which kind of endorsement do you get to musicians? What kind of musicians are they? You know, it's very important. If you're just a guy who builds fuzz pedals, you can basically sell the best fuzz pedals in the world, but no one is knowing that if you don't put effort in social media, in your service, and everything else. There are companies like 15 years now, and they're like Facebook companies. They don't have a site, but they tell everybody, yeah, I built pedals for like 15 years. Yeah, cool. That's embarrassing because no one knows you. You know what I try to say? You have to work not just on the pedal, you have to work on your company and your skills and how you bring yourself out. Yeah, like working with a band. If no one's listening to the best rock album of all the time, no one is basically listening to the band, you know?
Well, we touched, funny enough, Chris, we touched on it with the interview with Frank, I'm going to say it again, Frank Fleckenstein. Hopefully that'll make you smile again. He was talking about visibility and how important it is. And it is.
There are like, let's say 1,000 people in companies building a fuzz face right now. Okay, let's just imagine the number 1,000. Okay, 2,000 different fuzz face style pedals. Okay, right now in the market. Which one do you buying? They all cost the same. The others you don't know, and there is like 10 people that you are very cool with, and you like the kind of music they make with their pedals and all that. You tend to like where you buying. That's normal. You also have your favorite pub. You also have your favorite meal because the restaurant owner is nice to you and all that. Why not putting this effort in your company too? And if you don't do it, you're stupid. Easy. Basically, also in your band and everything.
So what's next on the horizon for Jupiter Pedals then? What have you got planned without giving too much market information away? But what have you got planned? What were your hopes and aspirations?
There's one thing I don't speak about, but it's in a reverb, and it will be cooler than any Strymon pedal, but I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
The other thing is we designed a secret product that we also can talk about it. But there are 3 pedals that I can talk about. This is the Warlow Big Muff. I already mentioned that. It will be there in March next month. And then the Katastrophe. It's an octave up that you can switch, and with a distortion and a boost and all that. Super cool. It's basically a live pedal, but we get rid of the boring red and put in cool distortion with an EQ and all that, like this, how distortions are in 2020 and 2021. And a booster that is called Mayonnaise, which is a presence booster with a low cut and bass boost.
All right. I'm into overdrive and boost, so I'll be checking that one out for sure. So
imagine you have a dual amp, like an old Plexi, that needs to have some kind of booster, but it's designed to make it sparkle like an AC30 kind of. So you need lots of high end. Also, guitarists need a bass cut, and they don't like to hear it that they need it, because bass frequencies are cool in a guitar if you play alone. That's true, but not in a band, because you have a bass drum and a bass player and all that. And if you focus on the right frequencies, that is the lower mids, guitarists will say it's bass, but it's the lower mids basically, and you can push them as insane if you want, and cut out the rumble underneath. That's basically the idea of this boost.
That'll be useful.
Yep.
That'll be useful. So many times when you're playing guitar and you get those frequencies and you're not cutting through, not because of volume, just because of just the frequency clash. So that sounds really exciting. So
even if you play in a doom and drone band, those guys with like 4 full stacks, they don't need 40 hertz low end rumble. They don't need it. They want to push the right frequencies that moves air, and 40 hertz doesn't move air. You don't need it. It's just like hum. So why boost it?
Yeah. And finally, I mean, with regards to who do you admire in the industry at the moment that's making pedals, and is there anybody you would love to collaborate with?
Also a topic I can talk about. I'm very, very, very connected with all kinds of builders. I love them all. I love pedals. I love gear. I'm very positive and very open for everything. But there is something in the making, and I don't.
Do you know what?
I can't talk about it, but I love them all.
I know it is. Is it a mainstream builder? Big mainstream builder? You're keeping your lips tight. Do you know what?
I wouldn't. If you would be smaller than me, I would say something to support him, because I'm the bigger act. But in this case, I'm not, and I have to keep my mouth shut there.
But I mean, that aside, I mean, who else are you admiring, sort of effects builder wise, in the market today? And also previously, is there any sort of builders? I mean, I look at, people like a lot of Roger Mayer stuff and Pete Cornish stuff. Fantastic. Who are your sort of, influential or influences in pedal building?
Good topic. I love to talk about it because I have a very cool story. But first of all, do you remember the big box Electro Harmonix pedals?
Yes.
This is the golden age of coolness in effects pedals. And if you watching this want to run a new company, please bring back big boxes because they're cool as heck. Okay, now we got this covered. I'm a German, and the biggest company in Germany, as I was a teenager, was Orion Effekte. It's all German. It's like Orion FX, but he's called Orion Effekte. No, he doesn't have. He's making his own thing, completely German. And it's not like volume, it's like Lautstärke, you know? It's not gain, it's Verzerrung. and he's making big mouths, he's making cool drives and all that. And he was my role model back then. I saw his pedals. It's so important to me that I stop working now and tell you the story. Okay. And Jan, basically, Jan is the owner of the company, and I saw him like there was 17, 16 about that, so long ago. And he was a role model. It's like looking at him making cool, relic, rough-looking, evil machines with Verzerrung on it, you know, as a teenager. And there were just big boxes from Electro-Harmonix, there were Boss pedals, you know, and then there was Orion. No one knows him, but he was the coolest person ever. And I mention him in basically every interview because I like him so much. And then I read an interview like 2 years ago, maybe, that he told the magazine that JPTR FX is one of the coolest company he knows. And this was a moment where I drove with my girlfriend and a friend in a car and it was a longer ride, so I got some magazines and read it. I was like crying because I was so touched. And yeah, Orion Effekte, there are a few other builders like Ben from Ground FX, one of my best friends, very, very, very cool guy. He's also building guitars right now. My best friend is making guitars, aluminum guitars, Barclay guitars it's called. And here's the shop right next to me. So if I stand up and go to this door, I'm standing in the middle of a guitar shop.
Oh.
Totally cool. Totally, yeah.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'm going to come and move in with you.
Yeah, sure. Also, we have 2 dogs here, our dogs and girlfriends and all that. It's very, very familiar and all that. Back to pedals. Yeah, there are so many cool builders in Germany. Also, if you're not just like the big ones, there are so many cool pedals basically everywhere now. If you Google custom guitar pedal, you have like a list like 4 hours to read now, and they all have good ideas.
Yeah, they do, and it makes it interesting. I think, you know, I mean, I'm in sort of researching various different boutique builders at this time. I'm thinking I'm on about 14 pages of various different builders that I want to interview and talk to at some point. It's just getting around to it though. So
absolutely. And the coolest thing is, most people tend to say something like, oh, the market is so full of pedals and starting a company is not a good idea because everyone is building the same. Yeah, but no, because you just have to evolve and make better ideas and start cooler things than the last 5 years of pedals and all that. So market is evolving. You're also evolving. You don't play the stuff you played 5 years ago, or? Yeah. Sure. So you buy new things. So why don't buy it from a new company?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There is also starting somewhere a girl age of 13 listening to Alice in Chains and grab a guitar and say, this is my hobby now. A new customer's born. So don't listen to the people nagging saying the market is overflowed with companies making the same thing because they didn't research enough.
Yeah, I think that can be. I think sometimes we can meet people like that in life and in business, particularly, and you have to move yourself away from that and follow your ideas and be focused on your ideas and not be pulled away from that focus. I think that is so important in business.
What about when someone would say, why starting a band? There are so many bands playing rock music. Yeah, but I like playing guitar. You know, it's the same sentence, but in another context. You wouldn't say that.
If it makes you smile, keep doing it.
Yeah, sure.
So from the 80s, listening to all the grunge in Nirvana, what are you listening to today, Chris? Any new bands you can tell us?
Rock music isn't dead.
It isn't it?
No.
You know, I was walking down the street, and this was probably about 10 years ago. I was walking through our local street, and there was a young guy. He was probably 10 years old or something like that. And he got a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt on. And I thought, brilliant. Rock and roll's not dead.
Rock and roll is not in the mainstream anymore, which is a good thing. Rock and roll is dangerous again, you know? And sure, you have to have something like a computer and something like Bad Evil Spotify, but I have like 4,000 playlists and learning new bands every day. So
me too.
To name a few, the band Nothing is one of my. We talk about only new bands now, okay?
Yeah, because I'm trying to broaden my horizons a bit with music, and also and looking at music, and I've been adding quite a few different bands to my playlists, and I want to look at new bands, and and also give some ideas to members for particularly bands that are just kind of starting off, maybe not in the mainstream yet.
Okay, fresh new bands I recommend to you or the listeners of this podcast to listen. The band Nothing. They make shoegaze, but not like whiny boys, lots of pedals. They have what I guess a grungy and very 80s hardcore influence. So lots of cool riffs with like and all that pedal stuff also going on. The band Nothing, by the way, we endorsed them, which makes me very proud. The band Kills Birds is an US band. It's like post-punk. Imagine Joy Division with fuzz pedals and a very, very talented front woman.
That's a great combination.
Imagine Courtney Love singing with Joy Division, and Joy Division were into fuzz pedals.
That sounds
yeah. And it's not like talking, they're really that awesome.
Yeah.
Crump is an psychedelic band from I don't know where.
Is that with a C or a K? Crump.
Crump with a C. And they make very trippy, lo-fi-ish, cool music. They're self-produced. They have videos online. You never see that cool stuff. They're so creative in songwriting. Songwriting is the important thing because you can't buy songwriting. That's what a good musician does. And yeah, very talented. Also, new bands, only new, right?
Well, preferably. It's always nice to hear about new bands, isn't it? And as I said, what we're going to be doing in FX Pedal Planet sort of later on this year is we've got we're booked up now until June every week for interviews of the smaller independent builders. But what we want to do as well is also start interviewing and talking to some up and coming bands, and we've got a few in the diary as well. some, you know, because there's a lot of bands and a lot of artists. They're super talented, but they're not in the mainstream, so to speak.
I don't. Okay, I have a new one. Yeah,
go on.
sorry.
I met
I interrupted you.
A jazz singer-songwriter called Kate Schutt quite recently. She's an award-winning jazz singer. You've probably never heard of her, but she makes fantastic music. Her songwriting is superb. So I'd say we just want to really kind of bring that side of the group as well. So yeah, any others you've got for us? Superb.
I got two recommendations. I wouldn't recommend another band, but if you into the internet, and most people do, you can look up KEXP. It's a radio station from Seattle. They have live interviews and live sets with bands on the YouTubes. And Audio Tree, of course. And if you watch like 4 hours of both channels, you will never say again that good music is bad. Because you would have fun, I would have fun, my girlfriend would have fun. They have everything. Everything.
Nice.
And also I follow Deep Sea Diver and Blue Digger, I don't know how to spell it, on Instagram. And they're both very talented women of playing guitar and bass. And what I see and what I really, really like is that they're putting albums out, and if you have Instagram, someone's doing a video and playing guitar while listening to a song, they repost that. And what you can see in their stories is young girls, young guys picking up instruments because role models in the TV and YouTube don't sing and dance, they play instruments again. And even if they dance with a band, they have instruments in their hand. So young people see, oh cool, instruments are cool. I want an instrument too. And that's why you picked up guitar and I too.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it all starts, isn't it? So,
sure.
Chris, look, thank you very much for your time. I feel that, you're a very busy guy, so I really appreciate that you've given some of your time to the group. It's really appreciated. And you're the first business person I've ever met in my career that actually deals in chocolate. So
I'm wonder I'm not fat.
Trades in chocolate. So I'll make sure that as a thank you for this, I'll get some chocolate sent over to you.
Always. Cool.
So look, because thank you very much, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.